I'm the internet virus you simply can't get rid of. It's me, family-friendly Bussica, or Bustina, or Bus if you nasty. And welcome back to Hot or Hot. And today we'll be on our hands and knees giving it up to God as we go line by line through the Bible. Just kidding, we'll be reviewing episode 6 of RuPaul's Drag Race season 15. And today our 12, can you believe there's still 12, remaining queens were split into 3 granny girl groups and challenged to come up with lyrics and choreography inspired by each of their group's genres: country, heavy metal, and hip hop. And the runway category was tie-dye, to die for. And the theme of this episode was confusion, delusion. What were the judges thinking? We may never know, but we'll be breaking down each queen's performance as I saw it, as well as covering the aftermath of the untucked quote-unquote bullying drama between Malaysia, Luxx Noir London, and Marcia. So buckle up because we've got a lot to talk about. But first, quick question. Are you using the internet without Surfshark? That's like talking loudly to your group members in the RuPaul's Drag Race workroom about your plans for the group challenge, thus letting everyone know what you're thinking and losing your competitive advantage. Because without a VPN, like Surfshark, sneaky snoopers, and even your internet service provider can see everything you're doing. And that ain't cute or drop dead gorgeous. Start protecting yourself when you browse the internet by clicking the link in the description of this video to download Surfshark. And yes, Surfshark can help block ads and trackers, but my favorite use of Surfshark is to unlock geo-restricted content. With just one click, I can surf on over to, I don't know, London, and get access to the entire RuPaul's Drag Race library without paying for 10 different streaming platforms. Fish, chips, and RuPaul's Drag Race? That's hot. And best of all, you can use Surfshark on all of your devices with unlimited device login. Plus, there's no risk in just trying it out because Surfshark offers a 30-day money-back guarantee. Click the link in the description of my video to download Surfshark today. You'll get 83% off and 3 extra months for free. That's right, when you use code Bussy to download Surfshark, you'll get 83% off and 3 extra months for free. Thanks Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Now, let's yay some hauls. First up, the Banjo Bitches. And in the order they appeared on the stage: Mistress, Isabelle, Brooks. And knowing Mistress was from Houston, I, as a fellow Texan, had high hopes for her. She did not disappoint. She's the perfect opener for this group and kind of acts as like the narrator would in a Broadway play. I meant to say musical. She sang, "Howdy folks, let me give you the tea. My girls can always count on me." And then ends with, "I might be old, but I'm having fun. Even at 100, life's just begun." And her lyrics, I think, did an excellent job of highlighting the group's camaraderie and overall cohesiveness. And I also love that she set the tone of celebrating their granniness with a wink wink, nudge nudge, instead of making fun of their age. This performance was a yeehaw! And over on the runway, is that a crystal on her shoulder, or is she just happy to see us? She's giving us Cosmic Queen, leader of the galaxy, in some beautiful purple hair with a gorgeous tie-dyed pink and purple cape draping around her body, giving us lots of drama, showmanship, and drag. I think she did an excellent job playing with textures, colors, and brought us into a unique concept for this category tonight. This look is hot to infinity and beyond. Next up, Luxx Noir London, who this episode led the charge of pushing for her group originally to have that heavy metal genre. Her and Mistress were fighting for that against Malaysia's group because they thought that was going to be the number one thing to have. And as it turns out, it kind of was, but country looks good on Luxx. And she really, I don't think, would have been able to show off her smooth as butter voice on that heavy metal track, which kind of demanded a more scratchy, guttural, growling voice in this track. But more on the unstoppable force meets the immovable object drama in a bit. I think Luxx was one of the best singers tonight. Maybe the best singer tonight, actually. And her lyrics were so professional and catchy, like she's been singing country all her life. Looking good and feeling fine, we don't need men, they waste our time. When honestly, we don't have that much time left. Down there is dry just like our wine, and like our wine... Oh god. And like our wine, we're aging fine. Like, it was so fun. I just can't say how much I enjoyed her singing and lyrics enough. The one critique I would give on her performance is she maybe could have pushed the envelope on her characterization a bit further, especially juxtaposed next to some of those powerhouse performers like Mistress and Salina next to her, who were giving facial choreography like 10 times what Luxx gave. That's a real small critique for this Southern Belle. This performance was hot. And on the runway, she paints with all the colors of the French. She's giving me Twiggy in the 70s meets 90s supermodel. This is a really beautiful look from Luxx. The oranges, yellows, and reds that are draping and dangling and fringing about her outfit are so gorgeous. And I love how much of her skin is showing through different parts of her outfit. Like, I think a silhouette like this can be difficult to accomplish because you do too much fabric and you can get swallowed in it. Too little, it looks like not enough, but she found just the right amount tonight. And my God, her legs, oh my God, her legs. This look is red, yellow, and orange. But is that wig 40 inches? Someone call Irene. Next up, Salina EsTities, who today, I'll remind you, is coming off the back of a bottom 2 lip sync last week, which is to say she's kind of got a lot to prove and the judges have their eyes on her. Lucky for her though, this type of challenge is right up her alley. She is an extremely theatrical performer. I already mentioned that facial choreography girl. She was giving us face, 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 beauty, face. Well, not a lot of beauty in that granny face, face, face tonight, but she was giving face, face, face. Take a shot every time I say face, you'll be dead. Anyways, yes, the performance itself she gave was good, and the lyrics also great. She sang, "I met these gals up in the home, and now I don't feel so alone. When I stop breathing in my sleep, or when I seem to have lost my teeth. My girls, they always have my back, even if it's out of whack." These grannies are gal pals through thick and thin, and I love how their messaging in their lyrics all kind of tied back into the old gays that they had in the episode earlier as well, talking about the importance of having friends in old age. Salina's performance was hot, but on the runway, you want thingamabobs? Oh, she's got 20 on her dress. I was really confused by this. At first, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, are those sand dollars on her chest? Seashells, scallops? And sure enough, I was maybe at least kind of right because I checked her Twitter and she was evidently going for an Ariel from The Little Mermaid thing. On Twitter, she wrote, "Baby, it's Ariel's cousin, Ariel. She's out here looking for her Aquaman." Hope she finds him. Okay, well, yes, shells, scallops, sea dollars, whatever is on her dress. It's a lot, but I do understand now that we're going with an underwater theme where we're going. The train of the dress is giving me ocean waves ruffling with all that French. And the look is at least visually interesting, stimulating, and unique. Always unique from Salina. One scallop I think might have been good on the chest, and then like the ruffly waves, I think that would have been perfect. But this dress as presented is giving me coral reefs and global warming, and I'm not loving it. It's a rat. And next up, Marcia, another drag queen weaponizing her BFA. Did y'all remember that tweet? That was so funny. Teasing about Marcia, of course, but she does let us know this episode that she was actually in a Kinky Boots production on Broadway. So this challenge is right up her alley. And you know, sometimes when queens talk a big talk, they don't necessarily walk a big walk, but Marcia walked a pretty big walk tonight. She sang, "What do you do when you reach the end? Look left, look right, you still got friends. Oh, I love you all so much, I could just die, and I just might." And with that closing verse, like her teammates tonight, she did a great job reminding us of the beauty of maintaining friends when you're growing old and having each other's backs while also still having fun with the idea that they are old grannies that just might die. But not in a mean way, like a funny, silly way. Marcia really did deserve more credit. Like she was saying, she deserved an Untucked. She did. The whole group did. This performance was hot. But Marcia's runway was a bloody mess. And this look is, in a word, confusing for the category. Tie-dye to die for? She's wearing this white schoolgirl dress that's covered in red liquid that is evidently from a nose injury that she sustained from a rhinestone football hitting her in the face. And you really would only know that if you read her Twitter. This is what she wrote about the look. Okay, my thought process. I could have easily made a pretty 70s hippie look out of tie-dye fabric, but I thought to myself, what is the dye? What would stain Marcia's clothes? So I made it the nosebud for my rhinestone football clutch. Of course. Adding underneath that, my parents made the football, I stoned it, I attached the fabric to a removable septum piercing so it looked like it was coming out of my nose. I wanted it to look like a cartoon character, like I was a red word paper doll. Not gonna lie, this one was a little out there. I mean, yeah, she clearly overthought this category by a lot and ultimately completely missed the mark because there's not a stitch of tie-dye on this look. Had the red fabric actually been like a red tie-dye, maybe this would have made more sense, or at least been on brief. But as is, I'm gonna give this look a. And next up from the rockin' old G's, we've got Sasha Colby. Sasha opens up the Rockin' Old G's number with a killer performance. She came out with energy, comedic granny characterizations, and self-references to her funny moment earlier in the season when she was cracking her neck as God. She was hilarious, and she totally swept this competition. For me, I don't know about y'all, but for me, I thought she was like the clear winner from her performance. She had me with those lyrics screaming. Calling all grannies, put them dentures in the air, cracking this neck, thank God for Medicare. Really great. Her performance was hot. No ifs, ands, buts, or broken bones about it. But she didn't get the win, even though it seemed like the edit was even setting her up for it, and the judges gave her no notes for improvement, and she was in the top, and yada yada yada. But more on that later. And as for Sasha's runway, I half expected her to pull out a broom because she swept here too. You're here. Cringe with me. Sasha's runway is the 90s oversaturated tie-dye that I personally was desperately hoping for, and I think she did a great job here. Like, she not only gave that very clear era of tie-dye as a reference, but also tied it into like the idea and concept of 90s club kids. She's got beauty, brains, and body. She's a triple threat, and this look is hot. Next up, Mayari, who sang, I pop to the left and I pop to the right. Keep losing my teeth, but I still peck a bite. But hold on, did I just wet myself? If you can handle this, see you in hell. And I read those specific lyrics to highlight, I think there was a little bit of awkwardness in the last line she sang. Like, I was enjoying the chaoticness of what she was saying, and it definitely made sense given the character and the theme of heavy metal. But I think a slightly deeper through line in her lyrics might have helped sell them a little more to me. And despite my thoughts on that, I think she gave an excellent performance as this heavy metal grandma. Or performance was certainly hot. But was she bad enough to the bone to really warrant the win over Sasha? Let me know what y'all thought in the comments below. What was bad to the bone though was this runway. I loved this look, which she says is celebrating the name Butch Queen that her peers back at home kind of call her in a not so nice way. And girl, let me just say this, Butch Queen or not, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this look. She's giving us a unique, elegant, and fashion-forward take on tie-dye. That bleached cream tie-dye on the black fabric is really cool, pushing that matrix boundary and really leaning into those 90s cyberpunk vibes. And this look overall I think is a great middle finger to gender norms and what makes a butch or femme queen, because really, who cares? Plus, she probably gets great cell service with that hair. This look is hot. And next up, shake the dice and spill the spice in the challenge. She was maybe a little bit weaker in her group compared to her sisters, but I thought her lyrics were really on brand and funny. Roll around and wet the bed. My kitty cat sags when I don't take my meds. Got the menses lining up. Even though I'm old, I still like to what? Like, this very much felt like an extension on her ding-a-ling verse from the first episode, but now I guess as Granny Spice. But as fun as her lyrics were, I think she missed the mark a little bit on the performance of heavy metal. I didn't get any of that scratchiness or rock and roll in her voice or characterization on the stage. Her heavy metal was just a little too light, and for that reason, I'm gonna give her performance a but like a soft one, because I really don't think anybody in this challenge did bad. Like, it was such a fun challenge and episode. Over on the runway though, I loved what she did here. I immediately was getting Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin references, but like Poison Ivy at her Sweet 16. Y'all, the grip Poison Ivy from that era of Batman had on the gays, the grip that she still has on me. Like, looking back, I actually think her kiss with Robin in that movie, spoiler alert, was part of my gay awakening. But anyways, back to Spice. This look is simple, but so effective in what she was going for. And every time she's on the runway, she really is giving us something polished, put together, and professional. Like, she knows as a drag character exactly who she is and what her brand is. And that is so important for yourself as a drag performer and artist, and also as a person on this show. My only critique on this look is I would say she maybe could have pushed the envelope a little further conceptually, because it's a great look for what it is, but I am looking for the bigger impact. What is going to make it iconic and unforgettable? And it didn't quite have that last little piece of the iceberg there for me. This look is hot. Next up, Malaysia Babydoll Foxx, who in the challenge rocked out singing, "Salt and pepper, do it better. Grab your granny for sweater weather." That was such a cute line. Like, she did a really great job of giving us these cute granny lyrics in a rock and roll verse with an amazing characterization. She pushed herself with the scratchy singing, and I could tell was comfortably stepping outside of her box with a confidence that allowed her to really succeed tonight. This performance was hot. And on the runway. Now, this this is how you wear a belt on the runway. I really enjoyed this look for how polished it is, and liked her, I would say, kind of 70s flower power references here, mixed with like some 80s campiness and the rouging of the top of the dress and those ostrich pom-poms on her shoulders. And this looks pageanty. It's very in the vein of her drag, but with a chicness and attention to detail that is unique to Malaysia, I think, in this cast. This look is hot. And now concerning the drama of the episode Malaysia versus Luxx and later Marcia. So initially neither Luxx nor Malaysia's group was willing to give up the genre of heavy metal, but Malaysia's group obviously eventually gets it. And later in Untucked, this fight comes up again, even though the queens in question really all got favorable critiques. It was at this point that Marcia was like, I'm tired of hearing about this, can we move on? And Malaysia is not shy to let Marcia know, no, we cannot move on because I'm speaking and I want to be heard. Which, honestly, more power to her, I would have reacted the same way. But it was in that Untucked discussion that Malaysia said Luxx was being a quote bully to her for not giving up the heavy metal genre, which Luxx elaborates on that she doesn't think that she was bullying, just standing her ground. Anyways, tensions were high and the queens thought it was necessary to address this Untucked drama online. Luxx that same night had tweeted out, Luxx Noir London, singer, songwriter, supermodel, bully. Marcia wrote, I absolutely love at Foxy Doll. Sisters fight, but at the end of the day, it's all love. And Malaysia wrote, this is all I'm saying. Enjoy the show and relax. First, I would like to say thank you for the kind words and all the love and support. Being on Drag Race and in the competition is a one-of-a-kind experience in every way possible. Being isolated from everyone and everything you know is very foreign. Meaning, when under pressure and in different scenarios, you can have your guard up or feel backed in a corner and react in certain situations. In the moment that was displayed in Untucked, I used the word bully. One of my biggest regrets was using that vocabulary, but that doesn't take away from what I felt in the moment. It was triggering is why I snapped the way I did. I wish I could go more in depth in the situation, but I would leave it at that. Overall, I love the girls and wouldn't trade the moment for anything. After all, y'all wanted some good TV and we gave it to y'all. Please refrain from sending hate to myself or my sisters. So yeah, as Marcia said, sisters fight, and this was an Untucked reality TV moment. Don't forget that. And remember, as fans of the show, it's our duty to not send hate to these queens and rather support them in every way possible. So let's all be nice and hug and kiss online. We're all in this together. If I get copyrighted for singing. And finally, let's enjoy the smooth sound of hip hop with the old dirty bitches. For your consideration, Anetra, who opens up the ODB's performance with, honestly, I think not enough energy compared to the previous two groups. And that was her biggest fault here. Like, she really was missing a bigger characterization. It kind of just sounded like Anetra rapping in a slightly nasalier voice, rather than a true granny giving us some hip hop. But I did really enjoy some of her lyrics, like, I may be 86, but I can slip your disc, and can't keep it up, then you're out of the will. Like, those were really funny moments for her. It was just a shame that, again, she was missing that energy, and also, very obviously, at the end of her verse, kind of got lost in her lyrics and maybe forgot some of them. And that was something Michelle brought up in the critiquing session, but it wasn't actually something I noticed in my initial watch through, which is to say I don't think her missing some of those were as big of a deal as Michelle seems to make it out to be. But this performance was a very soft rot. And her runway tonight, I wasn't in love with either. She was giving these little dainty pieces of tie-dye fabric placed here and here and here. My immediate thoughts on references were like Britney Spears in the crystal netting look crossed with her denim wedding gown, but like not enough in either direction. It looks kind of like she started putting on a cute outfit with the bottom half and the waist and the leggings, but then just forgot to put on the rest on top. And I'll also say her shoes and hair here are kind of feeling like an afterthought. I'm just wanting a little more cohesion in the story she's trying to tell us on the runway. This tie-dye I would not die for. It's a rat. Speaking of afterthoughts, my entire drag closet. Next up, let's get Jaxed together. And yes, Little Miss Jax ended up in the bottom tonight, but did she deserve it? In the challenge, I think she actually did a really great job with choreo, her lyrics, and energy. She rapped, in a wheelchair, rims you wanna steal, dancing on graves and pushing up daisies. Let me get up and slay with these ladies. And that part when she was like walking on her tiptoes, miming out the wheelchair motions was incredible. This is even a part of her performance that Megan Stalter, the guest judge tonight, hi gay, called out as being something so amazing she would tattoo on her body. I don't know if I would personally tattoo those lyrics on my body, but I did enjoy them. It was really confusing to see her in the bottom 3 for this episode after giving that amazing performance. And the reasons given by Michelle really didn't seem to have anything to do with her solo performance, but rather how she was performing when the spotlight was on the group as a whole. Apparently, I didn't even notice this on my first watch through, she was, I guess, ahead of the beat on some of the group choreo. But I mean, really, if you look at any of the 3 groups tonight when they're performing performing, I'm sure you could point out someone that was either ahead or behind or didn't know a step here or there. This felt like nitpicking for no reason and felt done really only to progress this narrative. I feel like they're trying to feed us that Jax is just not going to make it very far in the competition because she's doing bad, but she's really not. I don't know. I'd give this performance a hot. But on the runway, aren't you glad that you never have to see this look again? Oh my god. This look is so bad though that it's funny. It's like this weird almost painter's smock over an Oompa Loompa orange bodysuit with tie-dyed chaps. I think there's supposed to be like a disconnected, deconstructed chaps on the bottom part of her look in a space princess hair. Nothing about this look was cohesive or made sense or told a story that I want to hear. Like this look was just as confusing as her bottom placement for me. It's a And next up, Loosey, who's extra loosey-goosey tonight. And Miss LaDuca in her group, I think was the best at delivering the granny characterization, which was no real surprise here considering we've seen her Dolly Parton and Joan Rivers. She knows the character. And I think she did a great job also at adding some cleverness in her lyrics with some misdirect humor, giving that old shaky kind of granny voice mixed in with her more normal voice and lines like, those other stank hoes trying to get real slick, but if you're talking trash, you're gonna get the stick. And she also had some fun choreo moments like when she fell back on her girls. This performance was loosey, goosey, and hot. And on the runway, she borrowed Rupaul's wig and owns 51% of this tie-dye company. She's giving us a little cowl neck dress moment with lots of structure in the bottom, very Loosey LaDuca of her. It's very fitted, very shaped, very silhouetted, and I think she was kind of going for like fashion magazine editor kind of vibes. She felt very like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wears Prada to me in this. In Miss Loosey, I'll draw a comparison here, is I think a little similar to Spice in that both of them give really polished, branded runways that pretty much always meet the brief and make sense for their drag characters, but I am still kind of waiting for that wow, I've never seen this before kind of moment. Cruella de Chill, though, is looking icy hot. And next up, the Robin Fierce, who in the challenge, I'll say, had lyrics that were not bad by any means. And her choreo was not bad by any means. In fact, her choreo was pretty good. And maybe her choreo was so good that she kind of lost the granny characterization in several of those moments. And that paired with, I think, the awkwardness of delivery in some of her lines maybe was her downfall tonight. For example, she rapped, used to drop it hot, now I drop it warm. Then says, baby, did you eat today? Like a granny would, which feels disruptive in the middle of a rap flow. And I think as an ad-lib and another part of the song would have been really funny and additive, yet here took away from her performance. There was just not a lot in Robin's performance that was super memorable or stood out. And so yeah, I would agree, this is like a soft rot for me. And over on the runway, she is giving me Carrie Bradshaw with that big belt on that little poof dress. Like tell me Carrie Bradshaw's not wearing this in New York City right at this moment. And while I do like that this outfit made me think of one of my favorite TV shows, I'll also say this isn't my favorite style of dress. It feels a little pedestrian for a show like RuPaul's Drag Race. And I also feel like anyone could wear this dress and look pretty in it. And my God, does she look pretty? That mug? That's a stamped mug. But the gown for me is just not to die for. And I'm really wanting that innovation factor, which I think kind of sums up what the judges were trying to tell her in the competition. They wanted her to push further, find that boundary and break it. And ultimately, they really didn't even give her a chance to. It was kind of like, here's what we're thinking about you and your performance in this competition, and also you're going home tonight. Had she maybe heard some of this a few episodes earlier, maybe she could have had a chance to act on some of that. But here we are. So this look I'll leave with a warming up. So overall, comparing and contrasting between these three groups, my favorite overall, hands down, was the country group. But maybe that's just the inner Texan in me, y'all. I just feel that they gave a consistency across each queen's performance, and I felt so good and happy after watching it. And I was like, wow, when I get old, all I need is some gal pals and I'll be just fine. The heavy metal performance, on the other hand, kind of made me scared of wetting the bed. They were a close second though, I think, speaking in terms of performance to the country group, and hip hop I would put as my least favorite tonight. I also want to point out though, I don't think that the production behind the different tracks was really fair across the board. The hip hop track I think was missing some layers compared to the other two that made it less exciting to listen to. And you could kind of see that emptiness in the track affecting the group, like especially during the end when they're kind of just awkwardly walking to the back of the stage and then they hit a pose. The track itself was almost just intentionally missing something compared to the other two. Which leads me into the tops and bottoms and wacky judging this episode. Or as when win felt like it came out of absolutely nowhere. And like, did she do a good job? Yeah, but Sasha felt like the clear pick for a winner, especially if we're going to pick a winner from the heavy metal group. Even though I think the girls should have been judged as groups and given the win to the country girls. Especially considering they pretty much were judged as groups when you see that the bottom three were all from the hip hop group. Which is to say, I don't think Jax should have been there at all, and the lip sync probably should have been Anetra and Robin, or maybe Spice in one of those two. There's just a weird mismatch happening in these episodes that I'm gonna blame on the 40-minute edit right now. Like, the performances, the critiques, and what we're seeing just are not all lining up, and I'm like, make it make sense. Or maybe it's not the edit and it is in fact Morris. Rigamoris. I'd love to know what y'all thought about all this. Was it Rigamoris or just a bad edit? But considering that lip sync between the Robin Fierce and Jax, I did react to that over on my Patreon at patreon.com/BussyQueen. That's my members only website where you can join to get exclusive member benefits like early access to my YouTube videos, access to exclusive videos like these reactions, and more. And you can join by clicking the link in the description of this video. See you there. And overall, I'll say Jax probably gave one of the best lip syncs of this season so far. She was in it to win it. And Robin did good as well, but just wasn't as dynamic. Like, Jax's dancing ability here really paid off. She was giving us peaks and valleys and facial choreography and all kinds of performance moves that just took this to the next level. And Robin was fierce, just not fierce enough here. And finally, it's time for hottest hots. On the runway, I'm gonna go ahead and give it to Sasha Colby, and in the challenge, Sasha Colby. Unsurprisingly, I also asked my patrons to vote on these categories, and they too voted for Sasha Colby in both. It was her episode. Oh well. And finally, I want to say thanks so much to you for watching today's video, and to give an extra special shout out to today's video sponsor, Surfshark, who you can check out using the link in the description of this video. Don't forget, when you click my link, you'll get 83% off and 3 extra months of Surfshark for free. I also want to give a huge thanks to my channel members. You can join them by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button. And when you do, you'll join the House of Transport and even have the opportunity to become one of my bus drivers, which means you'll get your name in the description of every one of my videos. And lastly, I want to give a huge thanks to all my patrons who truly make my channel possible. And give a special shout out to Ashley Brungart, Daniel Sendez, Felicia, Frankie, Hector Simancas, Jeffrey Steenberg, Kyle, Laura, Lisette, Louis Labrador, Mark James, Matthew Burns, Matto, Panda Kitty, Sailor, Sexy Winnie the Blue, Steven Topher, Volumes Page, Willie, and Will and Tanner, who are all supporting me at my Bussy Queen Collector tier. See y'all later. Love ya. Bye. Not used to this big desk over here. Oh, big desk. Oh, such a big desk. Anyways,